My apologies to you members of the press for starting late. We nonetheless are commencing. Let me start by welcoming you to the first press conference that the Economic Empowerment Group is having for the year 2024. And perhaps by way of background, let me state that Economic Empowerment Group is a grouping of like-minded business people that are pro-empowerment and believe in the growth of a broad-based indigenous economy that is inclusive and creates wealth for all. We, at the back of our minds, believe that we need to create wealth for everyone, and hence we are thus organized. The organization seeks to carry on the work started by others in the empowerment movement to this particular generation. We are encouraging youths to identify opportunities in the economy and pursue them with zeal, to emulate and exceed those who were before them, such as Roger Boka, Ben Mucheche, Alex Mashamanda of Mashwede, Strive Masiwa, Mike Chimombe, Philip Chiangwa, Scott Sakupwanya, Zodwa Mkandla, Wikno Chivhayo, Dr. Delish Ngwanya, and Dr. Paul Tungwarara, amongst others. The Economic Empowerment Group commends the Second Republic for creating a conducive business environment that has fostered greater participation of the black majority in the mainstream economy. I'm sure you can see that there is greater participation of people of our color within this economy that has been necessitated by the policies, the robust policies that are pro-people, which we have from the Second Republic under NDS-1. The Economic Empowerment Group commends His Excellency also for including young techs in his cabinet following his resounding victory and that of ZANU-PF in the 2023 harmonized election. I'm sure we can all applaud His Excellency for such a move to have young people within cabinet. This can only work in favor of us as we grow towards Vision 2030. Let me move to notable successes that we have within the grouping. Our notable success in various sectors of the economy include Honorable Scott Sakupwanya, Mr. Mike Chimombe, our president, Mr. Wikno Chivhayo, and Zodwa Mkandla. Let me just zero in on these two, particularly Honorable Sakupwanya, who has been paying school fees for children and facilitating the medication of the elderly people in his constituency. This is a businessman taking his money and putting it in the constituency. Such is the belief that we have as the Economic Empowerment Group to say, when you create wealth, let's share that wealth with everyone. And we can see a shining example through our founder, Honorable Sakupwanya. We can also acknowledge Wikno Chivhayo for recognizing musicians and other youths, particularly in the arts sector. These philanthropic gestures are testimony of the emerging indigenous entrepreneurs who firmly believe that growth and success must be inclusive and seen benefiting local communities and the economy in which they operate. The inclusion of young techs in the executive boards well for the country's future, as well as youths are the center of decision making. In order to ensure that the mantra of leaving no one and no place behind and building an upper middle income country, there is need to ensure that indigenous players deepen their participation in the economy, that SMEs have access to affordable capital and access to government tenders. And this is at the heart of what we do as a lobby group, that we will be knocking on the necessary offices to ensure that we push for the broader participation of indigenous people in all sectors, be it SMEs, tenders, the like. Now, in line with the foregoing, it is prudent to protect local entrepreneurs from bogus foreign investors bent on exploiting our national resources and externalizing forex. I'm sure His Excellency is always clear to say Nika, inova kwa neve nevaya. And therefore, it is also very important for us as local entrepreneurs and local investors to guard what we have jealously for posterity and ensure that what we create will be used by generations that will come. It is also important to state that while foreign investors are welcome, they must play by the book and follow the laws of the land. As I conclude, I would want to highlight that our members value integrity, honesty, and believe in reaping the fruits of a hard day's work. We believe in creating millionaires and billionaires for posterity. Thus, we are for the people, from the people, to the people. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I want to highlight and create discussion ahead of the inaugural Zimbabwe Economic Empowerment INDA that we will be hosting on the 10th of April. It is going to be a first of its kind, where we invite our members to interact with government so that we come up with solutions that will lead to the greater participation of our people. Thus, we are looking forward to having this summit or Indawa with a great excitement. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude this press conference. I thank you. Any questions?
Terence, I heard you talking about foreigners abiding by the laws of the land. Do you have any specific situation that you may want to point out?
We are concerned with investors that come and behave in a way that is untowards the laws of the land, particularly in terms of banking and keeping the hard-earned foreign currency within the country. We have understood that there is a tendency by some, not all of them, by some who are bogus, that are leaking, and externalizing foreign currency out of the country. And that's why we had to sternly say that we do not condone such behavior. They should live and abide by the laws of the country.
Terence, we got successful black business people who are now millionaires, but we read in papers and social media, they are always being chased after. Everyone wants to know where their wealth is coming from. Everyone want them to explain how they get their money. But that never used to happen or does not happen if there are foreigners making money in this country. Do you have a comment on that? For example, I'll give examples. We've got Chivhayo. We had Zaki is after him. we've got Lisa Wange there. We also hear the social media is awash with negative comments. We've got Tungwarara. He won the tender, but finance ministry is not paying him, citing overcharging of of his work. What's your comment on that?
I think generally we have a mentality as Zimbabweans that we need to work on. It's a mindset where we need to learn to celebrate our own. We need to learn to accept that limits that were placed beyond or limits that were put ahead of us, we are capable of breaking them. We are capable of becoming millionaires. We're capable of becoming billionaires. And so if we have that paradigm shift, we will stop this witch hunt of saying, where is he getting his money? How is he getting his money? And so forth. We need to rise up to the occasion, become innovative, and learn to support each other. I've noticed that, and sorry to say this in such a way, but white people support each other. And a lot of black people also go and support white people. But you don't see that happening vice versa. Amene chitori chatitori nacho chekuti munhu akaita mari aromba, munhu akaita mari aita sei. But that is the discussion that we are now having as the economic empowerment group, to say, let us support one another. Let us learn from one another. Let us celebrate one another. It's quite noble what Wicknow is doing. He has amassed his wealth and he's making sure that he's sharing it with everyone. It's trickling down to all sectors of the economy. I'm not saying you should talk to Victor, but anyway, it's trickling down to all sectors of the economy, and the arts sector, the sports sector, and things like that. So that's what we want to build upon. Nyika ichivakwa neve nevayo, brick by brick and stone by stone. Yes, sir.
So maybe in short, yes, EEG, are you saying, number one, you are not happy with the way some foreign investors are being given priority over local businesses? And then number two, you are against law enforcement pursuing black business people only?
Definitely.
Of other business people?
Definitely. We are pro participation of black businesses in the economy. And that follows to then say that all the systems that ensure the success of black people should work for the enhancement and success of black people. We shouldn't have witch hunts against black people's success, but we should be able to protect and support them and encourage them, so that when we support and encourage them, we are then also telling our story to the rest of the world that we as black people are capable. We as black people do not cut corners, but we as black people are prudent, honest, young people that believe in the values of an honest, hard day's work. Yeah. Yes, sir.
You highlighted that there is going to be a meetup.
Yes.
What is the theme and what are the objectives?
Unlocking a value for the black people in the economy. That's the theme. Unlocking value for the black people in the economy.
What are the objectives? What do you intend to achieve at the end of
At the center, sorry, she just corrected me, which is a good thing to have gender. She just said indigenous. The word is indigenous, not to just say black people. The objective is to have an endeavor that creates a platform where government is able to speak to business, and where business is able to speak to government, so that we are able to bridge the gap that often arises, which leads to challenges in the way of doing business. We want to encourage the ease of doing business by indigenous business people, so that at the end of the day we will be able to grow our economy as espoused by His Excellency in Vision 2030.
And then in regards to that, Dhara, who is invited?
We will be advising you of the key stakeholders that are going to be coming, but definitely we are going to have a serious business representation. We're also going to have a serious government representation, so that the Indaba will be quite high end, and the discussions will be quite fruitful for what we want to achieve. Any other question? All right. So
Are you all satisfied? Sure. Yeah, but anyway, maybe we can ask a bit just to explain to what you want to achieve. You know? Of course, on that the key economic ministries are going to be invited. That's the Minister of Finance,
industry and commerce.
Industry and Commerce, SMEs, the ICT. You now know ICT is actually the mover for this generation. Then also, as economic empowerment group, you've been talking about the newly revised indigenous policy,
Yes.
and there are reserved sectors there for local indigenous people. But if we take stock of what's happening in this economy, lots of foreigners are still there in the reserved sectors. There is a policy that you once mentioned last year. When it comes to mining, they use it or lose it. Also, land, use it or lose it. How far have you gone? Have you achieved anything? Do you have any success story?
So fundamentally, to answer that, we decided to have a uniform approach that is also quite comprehensive and conclusive. To be able to speak to issues of policy without the policy makers is something that does not add up, or it doesn't make sense. So this particular summit, this particular INDAV, becomes the answer to the questions that we have, questions of the sectors that are designated for indigenous people, questions to deal with use it or lose it. The onus is on us as the lobby group to ensure that we put government to task on these particular matters, and we are looking forward to have this conversation with them, so much so that we'll then be able to empower and educate the nation to then say, this sector is open for you and you need to take up that space. But until and unless we have someone who is speaking about this, it will remain a dream, it will remain a pipe dream. So this is what we are passionately pushing for, and this summit will then become a stepping stone towards ensuring that we have lasting solutions to these matters that you've raised, sir.